What's up everyone, welcome back to One Strange Adventure and welcome to the next video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the purchase of our RV lot. We released a video a couple weeks back. We got a lot of questions about that, what the process looks like, were there any hidden costs, things like that. And so we figured we'd make a follow-up video and try to answer all of your questions.
Hi everybody. Wanted to talk to you for just a second about our bed. Harold put that bed in when I wasn't in here sleeping on it or anything, so thought I would give you my 2 cents. We've had that mattress since December, and it is Brooklyn Bedding, which is rvmattress.com, Brooklyn Bedding product. They are shipping for free out of their Arizona facility for anyone in the United States. They have RV specific non-traditional sizes as well as the traditional sizes, so huge range of things to choose from. And if you use our code, you get 30% off. So make sure that you are using our link, which is rvmattress.com/strange, and that will give you 30% off. And so that's the entire site, not just on the mattresses. But I wanted to tell you what we actually have. So I pulled it up on their website. We have the Aurora Luxe cooling, and then we added the Cloud Pillow Top. And that Cloud Pillow Top gives you 2 inches of different layers of foam to make it the pillow top feeling. So it actually has extra contouring for your body, so it relieves pressure, so you don't have the pressure points hurting you. And then it also has the cooling technology built into it, which is, you know, a game changer for anyone that has, you know, hot sleeps or night sweats or anything like that. But it also has these little grooves in it that are like diamonds, so it makes it where it doesn't really compress, so it doesn't make my hip hurt or Harold's sciatic nerve hurt, which is great. So we got the queen size Aurora Luxe cooling with the Cloud Pillow Top. Again, it's rvmattress.com/strange. They do still offer the 120 night sleep trial, and they have a limited lifetime warranty on it. And some of you might ask, why did we get rid of it, of the other one that we had? We didn't. We actually just moved it to my mom's because we were going to be at my mom's house for over 2 months, and I tried sleeping on the mattress that we had gotten at Sam's Club, and it was horrible, and I couldn't sleep, and I was hurting every day. So we ended up getting another one from Brooklyn Bedding just so I could have my other mattress at my mom's house when we were staying there for Christmas. So there you go. I didn't get rid of it. We just now have 2. So we did get a slew of questions. Just to start off, the RV site that we purchased was in Champions Run RV Park, which is about a 2-year-old RV park. One of the main questions that we received was, is that site or is that park purchased by a different company, or is it still owned by Champions Run? The answer is a company named Landstar actually purchased the property, and then they have a property management group that they use to help sell all the sites and help the owners rent it out.
There's a couple different parties in there.
3-party process of the sites.
But it's still called Champions Run, so if you're trying to rent a site from there, it's still Champions Run. Yep,
it's still Champions Run. So there are Champions Run sites, and then there is owner sites as of right now. Eventually the entire park will become owner sites, but it's a very lengthy process because each site is actually deeded to the owner, so they can't do but so many of those in a year.
You went into a lot of information really
quick,
fast.
Sorry. Alright, so let's slow down, back up a little bit.
Yeah.
How we found out about it was we had friends that were interested in owning an RV site. They contacted a sales rep, and the sales rep messaged them when that campground was having a sale.
So one of the questions that we got was it part of a weekend sale? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
But we went there just to support them, not to buy anything. And I joke around with people saying this is the largest impulse buy we've ever made. So some of the questions that we got. First one was from Mark Mavers2980. Congratulations to the site, so cool. I never knew such a thing existed. Well, we didn't really either. We hadn't really looked into buying an RV site.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that you could buy
like seasonal sites
or rent them and stuff like that, but we never knew that you could actually like buy one and have it deeded to you.
Yeah.
In the county. It's like basically Champions Run is just our neighborhood.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because they run it like a condominium, if you think of it that way. And so each site is actually deeded to the person purchasing it. You can get a actual traditional loan, like a mortgage loan for that site. There's a few banks that do those lendings, and then they also offered owner financing.
Right. So caveat with the owner financing is the payments are amortized like it's a 10-year loan, but you have 3 years to pay it off.
Yep.
Or refinance it. But because they offer owner financing, it's almost like a guarantee that you can get a site.
Yeah.
You just have to be in a position where you could refinance that in the next 36 months.
Right. And then if you're choosing the mortgage style, it can go from 10 years, I think, up to 15 years.
15 years.
All of them, you have to put some money down when you are signing the paperwork the day of the sale. But depending on how you're financing it is the percentage that they require down.
So our site was listed as $79,900, so 80 grand. And you had to put, what, 25% down?
If you're owner financing, it was 25. If you were doing the mortgage financing, it was 15.
Yeah, so anywhere from 15 to 25% down. So you need to have that type of capital or resources available to you. And then there's some additional costs that we found out along the way that we're going to talk about too.
Yes.
Now, when you're purchasing a lot, you do get a lot of information thrown at you. In fact, this is our pamphlet.
Yeah, so we actually got this folder, and this is the paper that came with the declaration of the condominium for Champions Run Ocala Luxury RV Resort.
There's a lot of information in there. Yeah.
Huge paper.
We're not going to bore you with all that. Our next question came from Amy Market 1470. Can you do a video on how to purchase an RV site? Well, check that box. The pros and cons of doing so. My husband and I are interested in such information, but we can't find it anywhere else. But yeah, there are definitely some pros and cons to it, right? But it also depends on what you want to use that RV lot for. So if you just want to use it for yourself, it's a lot simpler. If you want to rent it out, then it gets a little bit more complicated because we also had to purchase insurance.
Yes, so you have to have a general liability insurance policy just in case something happens on your lot.
Yeah.
So that if someone were to sue you, because it is yours, you have insurance to cover that. So we did have to purchase that, which it's not terribly expensive. It was just the process of finding someone that would actually insure it, because
which they gave us recommendations, and that's ultimately who we went with.
Yeah, but like if you call your local agent, they're not going to know what you're talking about because they're like, you want to do what?
We talked to several
like 7
insurance agents that are like State Farm, Progressive, Allstate,
like the
big ones,
the normal insurance agents, and they just didn't know what we were talking about.
It didn't work.
So then we started calling the ones that the Champions Run recommended.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately who we went with. So we got a general liability policy for renting the RV site so that it covers if anything happens on the site. If you were to rent your site, you have to use the Landstar Management Company to rent it. You're not allowed to use third-party sites like Airbnb or posting it on like the Full Timers RV page and stuff like that.
So I would say it's probably one of the first surprises that we will call out, is that we were kind of under the impression that when we bought it, we could rent it out ourselves and collect basically 100% of the rent. But if you are renting it out, it has to go through their management company, and they split the profits 70-30. Yep. So they'll take 30% of that rental. Now, what we can do is we can actually have a friend come and stay on it.
Yes.
And so we would book it for ourselves, and then, work it out with our friends or family that they could stay on it while we are technically booked for it.
Yeah.
But we can't just rent it out to anybody.
Yes, and then also part of your 30% that they keep is covering the yard maintenance and them coming out and, doing all the weed eating and lawn mowing and stuff like that, trash pickup, all your amenities, all of those types of things are coming from that 30%. And so if we stay on it ourselves, then we don't have to pay anything unless if they have to clean up the site after we leave, and then they'll charge us a fee to our monthly statement that we have. So it's pretty nice, and so I understand why they want you to rent it through them, so that they can manage the ins and outs of the campground. And then also they have your name and your information of who's coming into your site versus them thinking it's us and then we get there and it's not us.
You want to be confident that they're
we don't get there, but you guys.
They're not going to wreck the site.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some pros to owning an RV lot.
I think one of the biggest pros is we have someplace to go if our 1,000 trails that we like to use in Florida are booked up.
If we need to go somewhere, we can't find somewhere else to go, we have a spot to go.
Yep.
Unless it's rented out too. And we now, as owners, we do have the option. We can actually cancel reservations that have been made on that site so that we can use it. Obviously, we don't want to do that because the intention is for us to rent it out.
Right.
The more we're on it, the less money we can make with it.
And so our goal is to, cover our mortgage expense. So
Right.
we want to rent it out as much as possible so that we can actually, not have to pay the monthly mortgage on it. So,
At least break even.
yeah, or at least break even. So that would be our goal. So the pro would be that we can have it if we absolutely need it. We're going to try not to ever have to kick somebody off of it. And then the con side to owning that site is you do have a monthly mortgage payment. So if you don't rent it out, or it only rents out for say a week or a week and a half, through the summer when it's 110 degrees in Florida, we're footing that bill.
Right.
So that is a big con. So if you can't afford that monthly payment and you're banking on that rental income, you might be in the deficit.
Another con, I guess specific to our site, is we bought a cheaper site, so that means we're closer to the road where there is some traffic noise. While it's not horrible for us, not everybody would be okay with it, but we're fine after a day or two. We don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah, you sort of zone it out.
But another pro to that is we're in that park, and that park has really nice amenities.
Yes.
So we love the park. We would love to be a little further into the park, but
We didn't want to put the bill.
we're there and we're enjoying it.
Now I will say that you can put different types of plants and things in your site. You just have to get it approved first, which is a con that you have to get it approved first, but it's a pro that you're allowed to do that. And so eventually we may put like tall hedges behind our
Right.
site at the back side of it so that it gives like more of a buffer to that road noise.
All right, the next question we got was from Jeff953. Also, can you stay here permanently if you own it? So we're not sure yet.
So we were told yes, but because we signed up as a rental site, they didn't actually give us an answer because our goal is to not stay on it. We will do some digging and ask some questions and see if we can find an actual answer.
Now, we have a neighbor that's 2 spots down from us that is staying there permanently.
Yeah.
I think you can. We're just not 100% sure because it wasn't something that we were planning on doing anyways.
Yeah, because
So we didn't really ask.
when you purchase the site and you're done with your closing, the person from the land management group will email you and say, are you using it for yourself or are you using it as rental? And depending on which one you sign up for is which paperwork they give you so that you know your next steps. So we signed up for the rental side, so we didn't get the other information.
That brings up a good surprise number 2, which was when we said we were going to rent it out. We got a bill for $1,000, and this $1,000 is for them to take pictures of the site, to put it on their website, to market it.
Yeah, it's your
And
marketing expense.
Felt a little weird just because the site's already on the website and it had some pictures. It was stock photos though, so they would come out and take regular picture. Now, I guess the one good side of this is it's not $1,000 that you have to come up with out of pocket. They will actually take it out of your owner's account.
Yeah.
So as we accumulate rental income, it would be taken from that.
Yeah, so basically we won't make money until that $1,000 is paid off.
But yeah, that was kind of a surprise, a little bit of a hidden cost that we
nobody said
hadn't
anything
talked about.
Nobody had said anything about it, so we didn't even know that was a thing because we figured that would be part of the closing costs of
Right.
buying the site, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. All right, so next question. How much are the HOA dues if you own your site?
All right, so they call it POA for property owner instead of HOA, which is fine.
Same thing, still costs money.
Yeah, still costs money. So the dues are actually $3,900 a year, and it says that it's calculated at $325 a month, but billed annually. So surprise number 3, we have dues.
Well, we knew we'd have some dues, but I didn't quite think it was gonna be like $4,000 a year.
A year.
Plus property tax.
Yeah, and then you also have to figure out how to pay your own property taxes, which we'll figure out closer to December because, we just got it. So we'll figure that part out. But we haven't been billed for the dues yet. So I'm not quite sure if that's something we have to come out with of pocket, like closing cost, or is it billed to our month-end statement the same as the $1,000 that we just talked about?
We're still figuring some of this stuff out.
So there is a contact. The wonderful side of doing this is there is a contact person for us at the management group, and we can email her, we can schedule a call with her, we can schedule a Zoom with her.
She's very responsive.
And she's very responsive. Like, we've talked to her a couple of different times, and like he left her a message and she was calling us within like 10 minutes. So I created a spreadsheet, surprise her, of all the different information that we've received, and so that we can just search on the sheet and find the answer instead of scrolling through different emails and different messages. So made it a little bit quicker and faster for us. So your property owner's dues are $3,900 a year, and it covers your electricity for your site, the water, sewer, trash, internet, and they do have really good Wi-Fi, plus all of the landscape stuff and the amenities. The amenities are pretty nice.
Yes, they are.
So,
all right. Next question. Congrats. I would love to know more about renting a site. We stayed there from November to April, and we loved it.
Awesome.
So we need to find out some more information. If you're interested in renting our site month to month, like, we are definitely open to that. Having that conversation, just email us at onestrangeadventure@gmail.com.
Yep.
We can find out exactly how we would manage that, because we want to make sure that we're open with the management company so that they understand that we have a renter that would be there. But if you're looking for a site month to month over the winter, let us know. That takes a lot of stress off of us.
Still all brand new for us. We're still learning, and so far we've only had a few like weekend stays, not anything like long term. So we would like to, if we know that you're going to be in it, we can block it. We can let them know now to block it so that it doesn't get booked up by people that are coming for a week or two at a time.
Right. One of the next questions we got was from Mike Mazza, 1803. Did you purchase your lot during one of those weekend sale only events from a company in Houston?
Yes.
That's exactly what it was.
Yes. It was a weekend only. They do like one sale a year for the campground, and then that's when they're selling those sites that they've deeded. And then they'll do a round 2 of that campground when they release more of the deeded sites, because they have to go get the deeds done. So we were told that it's maybe like 100 to 120 at a time, because that's all they can get done at the courthouse in a time frame.
Yep.
That they were looking for. So the company Landstar is based out of Houston, and then that's where all of the sales reps actually fly to the campground to do the sale. And so there's actually a sale this weekend at a different campsite or campground, and so all of those salespeople will be at that location. And so if you're interested, let us know. We can forward your information to our sales rep, and then he can contact you when the next sale is happening.
Yep. All right, let's talk about closing costs and what to expect if you are wanting to purchase an RV site. So our site was roughly 80 grand, and our closing costs, plus this is down payment and closing fees, you're looking at $28,000.
Yes.
So yeah,
big chunk.
It's a hefty chunk of change in order to purchase the RV site, but we're hoping that it pays off for us. And even if it doesn't, we're okay with being able to use it for ourselves.
Yeah. So the pro of having the RV site is that it's there for us. But also, if we wanted to sell the RV site, say in 6 months or a year or 2 years or 20 years, we can sell it at whatever the price is that the sites are going for at that time. And so land values don't really go down. Hopefully.
Don't say that too loud.
So the next sale for that campground,
we could potentially make money out of it.
Potentially make money, because the cheapest the sites are going for is going to be 80,000-90,000 again. And so even if we sell it for what we paid, we're not going to lose money, because we're selling it for what we paid for it. I don't think they would go down with it being such a new park with great amenities. So.
Right. But yeah, so it was hefty chunk of change. When you add up the down payment, the closing costs, having to purchase insurance, the which the insurance cost us about
about
$280 a year for the insurance in order to do that. And the $1,000 you had to put down for renting it out.
Yep.
Then you got almost $4,000 a year in annual dues. Then whoever knows, God knows how much the property taxes are going to be in the state of Florida. So it's I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Like after you start naming it all out like that, but
it becomes a lot.
But yeah, so after you put it all together, I mean, it does take quite a large amount of capital or cash to purchase your RV lot. So just be keeping that in consideration as you go. You got to be okay with, coming out of pocket for some stuff. Unless you can find some investors, that'd be good too.
So there's a ton of different options out there for you, but do your research on it before you choose which option you're going to go with. And then one of the biggest surprises we had was the amount of closing costs, because we, like a house, your closing costs, comes from your down payment. It was not the case on the land for the RV lot. We had to come up with that closing cost plus the down payment.
None of it's financed into the loan.
And then
you're paying it all.
And so you have the option of doing the closing by a notary, and you pay for the notary to come out because it's a remote notary, because nobody's driving to the facility where the closing would be held. So that was an additional fee. One of the things we didn't know about when purchasing the RV lot is that when things go wrong on your site, such as the breaker going bad or the sewer cap breaking or something like that, the owners are responsible for fixing.
Well, what turned out to be supposed to be a really good day turned into a meh kind of day. All right, so problem number one, right? I took my foot off the brake and it was still in reverse. Look at that. Put the tailgate right into the side. Problem number two, my watchdog will not use the 50 amp on my pedestal. So I've got an extension cord all the way to the other lot. Thankfully, my neighbors aren't here yet. And problem number three, I got a little broken sewer pipe, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, the park will still fix it. They'll come out and fix it right away, because they're not going to let your guests sit there and not be able to have power.
If we're not there.
But they will bill, again, our owner's account, and we pay through our rental income.
So there is a lot of pros and there is a lot of cons for it. If you're looking for a site for you to be able to say, I can use this site no matter what, then it's a definite pro. That's what we wanted.
Yep.
Because it's getting harder and harder to find sites in Florida that's not, $1,000 a week in the winter. So that's why we wanted to do it.
Another pro is the fact that as owners, we get owners discounts.
Yes. So you can rent sites at other Landstar Management Group's properties.
There are 3 in Florida. You got Champions Run, Canopy Oaks, and a new one that's going to be called Palm Breeze.
Yep. And then you have a couple in Georgia, some over in Texas.
Yep.
There's a whole slew of them. And you get discounts for renting at those locations. We have not done that yet, so I'm not quite sure how that works. But that is something that we were told that we can do. So if we're traveling to different areas, or we can't get into ours and we want to look at someone else's sites, we can rent for a discounted rate.
Yep.
So
the last thing I'll say is closing took about 30 days. So we signed the contract initially, I think on February 11th, and we closed on March 10th. So about a month to close, and they were kind of expediting it because we were leaving the area. So I would say anywhere from 30 to 45 days to close.
Yep. And then if you have bank financing, the closing might be different. Every bank is different, just like with the house. So good part is you don't have to do all of the inspections and stuff like you do with the house. So that was nice.
All right. Well, I think that does it for today's video. Hopefully we answer your questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. We can answer them anytime.
Yep. And hopefully I didn't overwhelm you with all the different information that just sort of comes out.
We've learned a lot in the last month and a half, for sure.
But If you have any questions, please email us. onestrangeadventure@gmail.com is the best way to get a hold of both of us, and we will try to answer as much as we can.
Cool. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, make sure you subscribe.
Ring that bell so you get notified when we release our next video, and please consider becoming a patron on Patreon.
Nicely done. Till next strange adventure.
Keep making your own.